Alright guys, I figured I'd show you a relic from the past. This is Centipede. How all this started was, back in the day, I was very heavily into Volkswagen based rail buggies, dune buggies, Baja bugs, all that type of stuff. Probably built 6 or 8 different ones of them. Well, I got to thinking, what if, how can I get 4-wheel drive? Well, you need 2 transmissions, 2 transaxles. Well, 2 engines, that'd be cool. How would you do that? Then I got to thinking, 2 engines, maybe you could build something articulated. So it's the kind of idea that sticks with you and it bugs you, and then you're like, you know what, I'm going to do it. So starting in 1992, so this thing's pretty old, I built Centipede from scratch. So come on over here with me. And now right now there's no engines or transmissions in it. It was a twin engine, 4-wheel drive, 4-wheel steer. And how we got the 4-wheel steer is it's articulated. So there would have been a Volkswagen engine sitting here. Transaxle would have been sitting here. This is just a trailer axle, just to be able to move it around. So backing up, we did the 2 engines, 2 transmissions, and then on used it from it was running in 1993, and I used it all the way up until 1999. And if you look here, there is a sticker from Turkey Bay, which is Lamb Between the Lakes, Turkey Bay. It's an off-road area. We went there most. The sticker's dated 1999, so that was like the last year that we ran, was 99. Now what happened to this was we took it all the way to California, to Glamis, the sand dunes. So it's a 4-day drive, 2,500 miles. We go out there for a week. The sand is so deep and the hills are so steep that this basically has to run wide open all the time. So both engines, full throttle almost all the time. Finally, after about 5 days of dogging on it, jumping it and everything, finally, nothing actually broke, but I did blow an engine, and I think we lost the transmission too on that trip. And came back, took it apart, built some other stuff, and kept thinking I would get back on it. And here it is, 25 years later. This thing has been sitting dormant for a quarter of a century, and I've been collecting parts. Been collecting parts for about 3 years, saving up, gonna put it back together. Now remember, this is pre-internet. So all of this pre-internet. This is pre-side-by-sides. Back when we were riding, it was dirt bikes, 4-wheelers, 3-wheelers were still around. Well, 3-wheelers were probably mostly gone by then, but Jeeps, and of course, homemade dune buggies. There was no side-by-sides. So come on here and I'll show you. So there's actually a 5 horsepower Briggs & Stratton engine back there that does the hydraulics for the steering. And we go up here, steering valve. Now to get in, you actually lift this lever, and the whole steering wheel swings out of the way. And there's a little lift cylinder like off of a hood right here that would just kind of hold it here or hold it in the other position. So then you get in, you sit down, you would pull it back to you, lock it down, and it's pivoting. This is just a hub for a trailer right here. That's all that is. And then the hoses just wrap around to make them flexible. Even the passenger grab bar, that lifts up, goes down, and as you come on back, so you have 2 gear shifts. So you push the clutch pedal, and it's a hydraulic clutch, 2 reservoirs, 2 slave cylinders. So you're actually pushing both pressure plates at the same time. So it is stiffer than normal clutch, but it's nothing you can't do. So you push in the clutch, and then you have 2 gear shifts. So you go shift, shift, and then so both in first, come back to second. Of course, there's no feel because there's no transaxles in it. The gas pedal was hooked to both engines, and just through adjustments got them to do the same. And you have throttle override. These were throttle overrides, so you could apply throttle to the different ones, front or rear, to get them going, get them warmed up, get them started. I usually start the rear one first so I could hear it, and then start the front one, because you're sitting right on top of it. So as you come on back, you have a giant hinge pin. You have a giant hinge pin that's 2 feet long and a couple inches in diameter, and you have 2 steering cylinders, and so it's literally steering in 2 halves like this, like a front end loader. So you've got your front half and your back half, and it steers like this. It actually drives really, really well. No bump steer. The pivot only allows for steering. It does not allow for any twist like that. It doesn't allow for any of that. That would have made it way, way too complicated. And in the cab, I got to thinking about it. Like, if you're going along and this wheel drops in a rut, the whole cab would twist over violently. But since I didn't let it have that extra degree of articulation, for one corner to drop, it has to lift the opposite corner, so it slows everything down and averages everything. And just the suspension handles it. So coming on back, you've got your old school flathead 5 horsepower Briggs, and all that does is run a 2-stage log splitter pump. So there's high flow, low pressure for just your normal steering, and then when it gets in a bind, let's say you get stuck and you've dug all 4 holes. Let's say all 4 tires have dug down, you've made 4 holes and you're bottomed out. Since the wheelbase is changing all the time, whenever you steer, the wheelbase is literally changing. So this wheel would get closer to this wheel and those two would get further apart. If you're stuck, just turn the steering wheel and it will hydraulically force itself back out of the holes. Now that takes a lot of power, but the 2-stage pump would shift to low automatically, low flow, high pressure side, and give you the extra pressure you needed to get unstuck by physically forcing itself out of the holes. So I don't think I ever actually had it stuck. Now I'm sure you could get it stuck. I do have a winch, which I've never used. Matter of fact, there's hour meters on this thing, and I'll go out. So you've got 3 ignitions, front engine, steering engine, rear engine, and then this is various lights, headlights, tail lights, and stuff like that. Let me go over there and see how many hours. I don't think the hours was real high on it. There's like 154 hours on the front engine. I never put one on the rear engine. The steering engine was only used 197 hours. So if it was running, I was doing something, driving or something. So this thing actually got driven less than 200 hours, which, as much as I use it, you think that number would be more. So it's actually a 5-seater. You got your 2 seats in the front, you got your bench seat, and this is kind of cool. We did kind of like a roller coaster bar. So you would lift this like that. You'd hop in, and there was just I don't think we ever ran harnesses. There's just lap belts, and then you just put this down. It gives the passenger something to hold on to. So the way we put it, you pay your dues back here, then you get to graduate to the front. Then your last engine would have been right here, of course, transaxle, everything. And right now there's just a single tire back there, just for moving it around because the drive lines are out of it. And so we're actually getting ready to move it out. We're getting ready to move this thing out of here. And I've got another helper coming. And what we're gonna do to be able to steer and get past the motorhome, we're gonna have to make a hard left. But what we're gonna do is, I can't get this little engine to start, but I've got the spark plug pulled, it's electric start. So what we're gonna do this. I'm just gonna hit the starter, steer it like this. We're good to go. Of course, we can't run the starter for very long, we'll burn it up, but we're gonna pull it or push it and then get it to turn, and get around the corner, and we're going to get this thing in the shop. And it's the start of February 2025. Hopefully in less than 90 days, this will be completely refurbished, operational. Hopefully going to take it to a couple of shows, and before we actually get it dirty or break it, and try to have some fun with it, get it back on, not on the road, on the off-road, back in the off-road scene. It should be pretty interesting now, because again, this was pre YouTube. This thing came out, this is like 1993. So it was, I started in 1992, it was usable in 1993, so we didn't have a computer, there was no social media, anything like that. So I'm kind of interested to see how this, what kind of reaction we get, and stuff like that. But regardless, got grandkids, ride them around and stuff, and just get it back on the road. And it's just too cool not to rebuild. So that's what we're gonna do. And we'll do some follow-ups. We'll be doing some more videos and keep you guys posted as to how we're doing on this. So that's it for now. Appreciate it. See you guys later.